Thank you, Don, Darren, and Joe, and the rest of the Synergistics team. We're excited to be back here again. This is our 5th year back here. We've been coming for quite some time. We love coming back down to Florida and being here with you guys, and it's really a great opportunity for us to talk to some of our existing clients as well as to potentially talk to some new clients. And every year, this conference keeps getting better and better, and we are super excited to be back here once again. Today, we're going to talk about embracing new technology and what we need to do and why some people embrace it and why some people fear it. And how are we going to overcome some of those fears, and how can we help you overcome some of those fears? So there's been a lot of new technologies that have come out over the past 2 to 3 years, like virtual reality headsets, and well, iPads are older than 2 to 3 years. But these are some technologies that are becoming much more mainstream inside of pharmaceutical. I mean, virtual reality's been around for over 20 years, but now it's starting to become mainstream. The iPad's been around for over 8 years now, and everybody's using one. We have things like the IoT button, which is huge, and we're going to talk to you guys about how we can use this, as well as how to overcome some of the fear on how to use it, as well as Amazon Alexa. And this thing just keeps growing every single year, so it's a wonderful new technology. But before we do that, I have a quick poll. So your company comes to you and you're rolling out a new technology. It's being implemented at your office. What do? Do you embrace the change, sign up to be part of the rollout team and forge forward with this? Or do you allow your emotions to stop you from taking the next step? And if you're like option one, which is not a lot of us, but at Thingy, we like to call this the trailblazer mentality. These are the guys that want to take the hill, that want to go and really forge forward. And you want to trailblaze into that new frontier. If you're like option two, which a lot of people are, and there's nothing wrong with that, there's a whole host of emotions that are going on right now. So loss. What am I going to lose? What will happen if I use this? Will I like it? Does this thing even work? What will I lose with the current tools that I use? Am I going to find something that I love as much as my old tool that I used? Embarrassment. Am I going to make a fool out of myself using this tool? No one wants to look like a fool in front of their peers or look like they don't know something. Change. This is not easy for someone else, especially when somebody else is making the change for you. So you have your cheese is right there, but somebody's going to take it and is going to move it on you, and you're not going to be happy about it. I liked where my cheese was. I don't want my cheese to move. So that change is going to happen. Now, the unfortunate part about change is, and I know this sounds cliche, but change is the only constant. So there will be a new tool, there will be a new process, there will be a new technology. And some people are going to embrace the change, and some people, well, they might need some help to get there. So the good thing is that you can change the way you think. Let's talk now about some of the innovations that people thought were impossible, but is now possible. So let's start with a brief history lesson. First thing up, the automobile. I always think back to my grandfather, who grew up during the Great Depression, and he was a milkman. He actually took a number of different jobs, but he was a milkman for quite some time. And he always talked about how he still preferred his horse and buggy to deliver the milk versus an automobile. Eventually, he got over that and owned many automobiles over his lifetime, but he still preferred his horse and buggy. Taking flight, the Wright brothers. How many people laughed at the Wright brothers? How many people said that thing will never fly? And look at where we are now. I mean, we've come a great way since then. And then going to the moon, putting that man on the moon. A lot of people thought, yeah, right, but we had a wonderful government, and we had a wonderful time where we rallied together as a country, and we were able to bring this wonderful new technology through to fruition and actually send a man to the moon. So let's translate that into new recent tech innovations and what is now possible. So some of those recent technology innovations. Amazon.com. They were a bookstore. They lost millions of dollars for many years. Now it's one of the largest companies in the world. Did you think it was possible 10 years ago to buy those Christmas presents and have them delivered to your home? I mean, Amazon is doing so many wonderful things and continuing to offer new technologies, and people are embracing those. Netflix. How many people thought that they would be able to sit in the comfort of their own home on a Saturday night and choose the movie? A lot of people still loved the experience of getting in their car, driving to Blockbuster or going to Redbox, going in, spending half an hour, 45 minutes where you and your significant other decided on what the right movie was to rent, picking out your popcorn and your other candies and whatnot like that, checking out, and then going home to watch your movie experience. Now that has been cut down to sitting in front of your TV for 45 minutes to an hour to decide on what you're going to watch on a Saturday night. So it's a huge shift, but Netflix is something that people have adopted and people come and know to love. Blue Apron. There's Blue Apron and Fresh Direct. Who would have thought that companies would be able to package up all the ingredients that you needed to make, and a recipe with complete instructions on how to create a gourmet meal in the comfort of your own home? They ship you everything. Everything is going to be there. Everything that you need is there, and they handle all that coordination along with all of the recipes and instructions and super clear and easy to use instructions on how to do that. So Blue Apron clearly changed the game. iPhone. My iPhone came out and they changed. They moved my button. They removed my button, which I was unhappy with for about 4 hours, and then Apple made this so simple and so easy to use that I wasn't even concerned about a button. I go back and I use my wife's iPhone 7 and using the buttons, and it's actually antiquated to go back and use an older version of the iPhone. I prefer this so much more to the way that it was. Oh, and the other thing is, with all of this new technology, think about what we're cramming into this, between the video and the camera. I mean, I'm carrying around, something that takes as good a pictures as my SLR that's sitting in my coat closet. And don't tell my wife how much money I spent on that digital camera. So, with that, talking about some of these innovations that got us to where we are today, let's think about some of the wins that Thingy had to overcome over the past 17 years in the life sciences and those digital changes that we need to make. Detail aids. I mean, I'm sure everybody can remember what we had to do with detail aids and how we had to get them out to the field force. It was a serious coordinated effort to be able to get this information out to the field force, and that came in the way of CDs. So we actually used to have a CD toaster and a duplicator at the office, which you'd put one in and run 7 off, and we'd put labels on them, and we'd send them to the sales ops team, and the sales ops teams would mail it out to the field force. Same thing happened with DVDs. Now we had a larger capacity disk to be able to send this information out. Then it became flash drives. Flash drives were easy to send out. They'd be actually able to send them back. So we had reusable technology, which is great. And then we had interactive PowerPoints, which we put on the flash drives. And then we had the tablet PC craze, which was a flash in the pan. It came and went very quickly. And then the iPads. And then the iPads came around about 8 years ago, and people adopted them in droves. And we're very thankful about the fact that people have adopted the iPads. And one of the things to note is the iPad is not here forever. With each one of these new technologies, we are going to need to change. There is going to be something different. There is going to be the next new iPad. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm very excited about what is going to happen in the future. The IoT button. Amazon has mainstreamed how the Internet of Things buttons worked, and this is going to be a huge shift for Thingy and for our pharmaceutical company clients that are going to use this. And we already have some early adopters that are using this technology and that are putting this out in the field with their sales reps to distribute to HCPs. Now we have an HCP easy button that is sitting in their office. We actually have real estate that this is taking up. It could be there to order new samples. It could be there to request a visit. It could be there for a medical information request. It could be there because you just have a patient question. So we are now going to have these buttons that are going to be sitting in thousands of doctors' offices for them to be able to communicate back with the home office, to ask specific questions to specific pharmaceutical companies. And I know this may sound scary, but it's not. It's a wonderful way to have a concierge service with your clients, the HCPs. Marketing and events. And I know that trade shows have been around forever, but think about it. I've been to a fair amount of events over the past year, and if you look up, you see wireless repeaters all throughout the rafters, and they're blanketing these events and these conference halls with internet technologies. So now, rather than having to have a whole self-contained presentation or a digital marketing tactic that's going to be installed at that booth, we now are able to connect to real-time APIs on the internet. We're actually able to collect information. We're actually able to create a personalized experience for the people that are attending our booths. And we can market to them in real time. We can use that information. We can put that data and information back into our CRM so we can know who actually participated at those events. It's a tremendous amount of information that we're getting, which in the past, it was cumbersome. We used to have to get the information back from the lead gen capture people at the end of the event and to see who actually participated. Now we could do it in real time. It's pretty amazing. So with all of these technologies, you're probably asking me, well, Jeff, how do I change? How can I change? So somebody that I listen to quite often is a speaker. His name is Brendon Burchard, and he goes, most fear is just bad management of our own mental faculties. And I believe this. So when you think about it, if you were to do a little bit of research about something you knew nothing about, you would be able to gain a little bit of understanding, and it would not be so terrifying. It would actually change the way that you're going to think about it. And once something becomes knowable, you start to develop competency. And with that competency, you develop confidence. And it has this effect of this confidence circle. So you're actually able to learn more about the technologies that you want to implement in your companies. The same thing happened to me with the iPhone X. I was a little apprehensive about using it because they took away my button. My button is no longer here. What am I going to do without a button? Well, I learned to overcome that very quickly, and Apple did such a great job with the way that they designed their product. They enabled me to become very competent because they gave me the confidence, because understanding this was really simple. I mean, you just started using it, and it just worked. So it was a wonderful thing that they did for me. The good thing is you're not alone with it. You don't have to do everything on your own. There are people out there like Synergistics, like Thingy, and all the other vendors that are here at this conference that can help you develop knowledge and become competent to give you more confidence in these new technologies or these new innovations. And it doesn't have to be only digital. Now, one of the things to know is Synergistics and Thingy, we have a strategic partnership to collectively help our clients drive those digital innovations. We collaborate on a number of different opportunities together, and it's really quite a special relationship. So if you want to leverage new technology in your business, come find me. I'll be here. Thank you.